Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to recommend 7 of the best cheap and best projecting fragrances on the market, on my skin at least. So let's jump into the first one. I have to include this one. This is Club de Nuit Intense Man. It is not my favorite fragrance. I don't think it smells so good actually, and I can't really understand people say this smells exactly like Creed Aventus, because then is something wrong with your nose. This is a little bit more synthetic smelling, but it projects really good. So if you just want a fragrance that projects really good and you're not so sensitive to if it smells synthetic or if it smells natural, this might be a good and cheap alternative for you. This smells like bergamot, of course, in the opening. Have some pineapple, there's some rose and birch in the mid notes, and when it dries down it has a little bit more musky character with some ambergris. It gives it a little bit more kick, a little bit longevity, and it projects very heavy with the base notes that lift this fragrance up a bit. So it's a good cheap alternative, great projection. The next one is from Asaro, and this is the classic. It's called Chrome, great projecting fragrance. I think this smells good overall on my skin, so it's a good cheap if you want a nice summer fragrance. Opens up with a lot of citrus, obviously this one as well. Bergamot, I think there's some neroli in this one. And what makes this long lasting is it has a little bit more kick in the base note. We have some sandalwood in there. There's also some musk, some other woody notes. I think there's some cedar wood in this as well. There is supposed to be some cardamom that has like a better foundation that this stands on, that I've heard should be a little bit of a more punchier version than some other Asaro chromes on the market, because this has a little bit more deeper notes, like I don't know if there's some cinnamon in this one as well, but I don't really smell the cinnamon in it, because it can be just a base note that it stands on. It makes it a little bit more kick. So on my skin, this projects really good. It's a really cheap gym fragrance that I use almost every day when I'm both outside and inside working out. So great one. Next on this list is this guy, Varvatos Artisan. It opens up with some clementine and also some thyme, but overall this smells a lot of ginger, which is in the heart note of this fragrance. When it dries down, it becomes a little bit more woody and musky fragrance, but overall I think this smells more like a just clean and fresh citrus and ginger fragrance. Also very good in the high heat. I would really recommend this, and it projects really good. It comes in the shade, it becomes a little bit shadowed by, of course, Artisan Pure, but I think this even has a little bit better performance actually than Artisan Pure, and it's a little bit more interesting than Artisan Pure. So if you haven't tried it, try this one, Varvatos Artisan. Next up is a fragrance from Calvin Klein. This is a classic. It's called Into You for him. And this is a little bit different from your typical Calvin Klein fragrances. This is a little bit more interesting. It opens up with some lemon and also some tomato leaf, which is not so common in fragrances. And when it comes into the heart notes, there's some cacao, I think. And also when it dries down, it becomes a little bit more of a classic fragrance with the musks and also the more woody notes, which makes it last a little bit longer. So this is actually also a really long-lasting fragrance for the price you pay. So a good fragrance if you don't only want a fresh and clean fragrance from Calvin Klein. If you want something different, there's some little bit smoother notes in this, and there's also some fresh notes in this. So it's not sweet and it's not super fresh, it's somewhere in between. So this is also a great and affordable alternative. Alright guys, so the next one on this list is this little guy, Sean Yon 3 AM. This is a fragrance that is pretty interesting. It opens up pretty fresh with some classic bergamot notes, and I think there's some cardamom in the opening. That's pretty weird for an opening in a fragrance. But when it comes to the heart notes of this, then it comes in the heart of the fragrance, basically the fig leaf. And when it dries down, they have some interesting notes in this. I think there's some tonic water notes that makes this smell like a gin and tonic with a fig note. A fruitier gin and tonic with a fig touch, I would say. So this one is pretty interesting for a cheap fragrance. It doesn't really smell like your typical designer fragrance in the summertime. It has some of the sweetness that a lot of fragrances for the summertime lacks because of the fig leaf that's in this one. So if you want a little bit different take on a cheap summer fragrance, try Sean Yon 3 AM. Next up is this one, Bondage On. It's a version of Le Mal, but this one only costs 15 bucks. So if you love the Le Mal fragrance with that very prominent mint opening, and also there is some lavender in this one in the heart notes, and of course the vanilla tonka vibe in the base notes. Lasts a long time, predicts really good, so if you don't want to spend the money on the current formulation of Le Mal, which is pretty bad performing, I think, this is a much better alternative that will get you compliments if you only want to spend 15 bucks on a fragrance. And the last one today is from the car brand Jaguar, and this is called Pace. It is a very simple fragrance. It smells very peppery, heavy in the pepper notes, and also some fresh bergamot in this one. This is a fragrance that is so laid back and relaxed that I wouldn't suggest anyone to wear this in any other occasion than like a gym scenario, or you're working out or something like that, and you just want to smell fresh and clean, or maybe a day at the beach. This is not at all sweet. This is super masculine, so if you want a really masculine fragrance that women actually love, it's pretty simple, but girls like this one. Try Jaguar Pace. It's inexpensive. I think you can get it for 20 to 25 bucks. Good projecting fragrance as well. No fuss about this fragrance. It's good for any guy, both young and old guys. I would recommend this too. And yeah, so that's it. Alright guys, so that was the fragrances of today. Let me know in the comment section which one is your favorite fragrance for a low price but that projects really good and maybe long lasting as well. Give me a thumbs up so we can hit some recommendations and get the videos out even more, so we get more viewers and stuff like that, so I can improve the content in the future and give you better content overall. Thank you for watching, and see you the next time.